G'day and welcome to the channel. In today's video, I want to quickly chat about a major issue that I've just encountered with the Canon R6 camera. Yep, I've jumped on the bandwagon, I've finally got this mirrorless camera and I'm just putting it through its paces, you know, having a look, taking a number of photos, comparing it with the 5D4. So if you want to see that video, subscribe because I'll do a proper honest review later on. During the testing of the R6, I've encountered a bit of an issue when using a long lens. So this lens here, this is the 800 5.6 and I've got a 1.4 converter, so I have a lot of focal length. So we have those really out of focus backgrounds and a very narrow depth of field. So what's the issue? Well, the camera will not focus on a bird that's on a perch if you've already locked onto the background. So occasionally when you're photographing birds, for whatever reason, the camera will focus on the background, and generally you just put the AF point over the bird. You'll often know where it is or it'll be slightly out of focus, and you hit the focus button and the camera will search for it, find it, lock onto it, and away you go. So I've been photographing birds for years and years using DSLRs, and this happens on a fairly regular basis, but the cameras are smart enough to know if you put the focus point on the bird, it finds it and away you go. And I was expecting exactly the same thing with the R6. So I had the bird on the perch and I'm photographing the bird and the camera went to the background. I've put the focus point on top of the bird and the camera just refused to focus on the bird. Point blank refused. So it just stuck to that background like absolute glue, and it didn't matter what I did, I couldn't get the camera to focus, and I was thinking, what's wrong with the camera? What's going on here? To be honest, I was a little bit confused. So I recorded this phenomenon, and you can see it on the screen. We've got this willy wagtail, so it's focused. You can see the IIF working. It's detected the bird. Now, if I focus on the background's now in focus. I put the focus point back on the bird. I hit the focus button and nothing happens. It just will not focus on the bird. You can see the focus point pulsing or flashing. This is a real concern. So I quickly changed over to the 5D4, same lens I was using, same location, everything was identical except for the camera. Put the 5D4 on, I focused on the background, put the focus point on the bird, hit the focus button, boom, camera finds the bird, and away we go. I repeated that a few times and the 5D4 found it every single time without an issue. So now I'm thinking, what's wrong with the R6? It can't pick up a bird when it's directly in front of it. Here I was with this advanced autofocus system on this amazing mirrorless camera. I'd read all these amazing reviews about the autofocus system, and here I was pointing the camera and the lens at a bird that was directly in front of me, wagging its tail, and the camera refused to focus. I'm curious to know whether you're having these same issues. Let me know in the comments below. Confident that it can be fixed with the firmware. So I decided to try a number of different settings to see if it was settings-based things. A number of different focus modes that you can enter. So I've tried spot AF, so the smallest AF you can get. I've tried single, I've tried expanded, I've tried every single different setting of focus points, and none of them worked. None of them picked up the bird. I then tried the different actual focus modes, nothing. I tried AI servo, I tried single shot, and again, nothing worked. I always had the same issue. So it appears that it is an issue with the camera, just not being able to detect what's directly in front of it with the long lens. So yeah, I suspect what's happening is because the depth of field is so narrow on these big lenses, and when you're focused far away, the camera just can't detect that there's a bird there or that there's anything in front of the lens. And it just can't see it, so it's not going to focus on it. As soon as you can sort of make out the bird, the IIF locks onto it and it works amazingly well. The IIF is a really powerful autofocus tool when it works. So when the camera can detect that there's a bird there, locks onto it, no issue. The problem is for the camera to know that there's a bird there. So the only time that the camera will actually focus towards something that's close is when the object you're photographing completely surrounds the focus point. So where I am here, I've got to put the focus point directly on a rock for it to focus on it. If I just have half the rock and half the background, it won't leave the background. If any part of that background is touching that focus point, it appears to just lock onto it and it won't let it go. Tried all sorts of different things, not just birds, and if there's ever any part of the background, it just won't focus. So I thought, okay, well maybe I'll try a few different lenses. So I've actually got a 400 5.6. I've put that on the camera and it actually worked way better. So the 400 5.6, occasionally it's stuck on the background, but most of the time the IIF actually picked up the bird and it focused. And that's why it's got me thinking it's a depth of field issue, because the 400 5.6 obviously doesn't have that same narrow depth of field, and even when you're focused to infinity, the camera can sort of make out that there's a bird close by and it'll focus on it. Even though I was actually further away and the bird was smaller in the frame, it was still picking it up compared to this long lens where the bird is huge in the frame, but again, it still didn't want to detect it even though it was right in front of it. So it has to be something to do with the long lens. All right, so I've actually come back out in the field. I've done some more testing because I want to make sure that what I'm seeing is right. So now that I know that there's an issue with the R6, when I'm focusing in this sort of environment, I need some solutions. So that's what I'm going to share with you now. I want to help you, if you're in the same circumstances, focus on a bird on a perch when the camera refuses to do so. All right, the first way, and it's fairly straightforward, so all you need to do, focus on the rock or something below the perch, up and away you go. And sometimes you'll have trouble finding the bird, but the IAF is so good, all you need to do is make it so that the camera can even detect the bird. So simply down, bring the focal plane forward, up, camera picks it up. Not a drama. Second option is just to turn the manual focus ring. So say I'm focused on the background, I can't see the perch, I just simply move the focus ring and boom, the perch appears in my viewfinder. So all I need to do is go to the right, boom. Very quick. I think that's almost quicker than focusing on the ground. All right, the third feature, and it's an exciting one, and one I'd never played with before, is the focus preset button. So on the telephoto lenses, and all the Canon ones, I'm assuming Nikon and Sony are the same, is it gives you the ability to pre-focus on something, so say a perch. So all I need to do is focus on the perch that I want. So, okay, so I'm focused on the perch. All I need to do is push the focus preset button. So I've pushed it. That's told the lens that that's where I want it to pre-focus on, that perch. And so now the lens will remember that exact location. So if I go to the background, I've lost the perch. Where's the perch? Can't find it. What I need to do is turn this and it goes directly back to the perch. Instantly back to the perch. Turn it, boom. Instant back to the perch. So that's an amazing tool that I'll probably end up using quite a bit. All you need to do is obviously know where the bird's going to land, focus on it, push the button, turn the knob when you need to go back there. If you focus away, come back. Really, really good solution I've found for using the R6 if you can't locate the bird. So one note is it'll only work, I believe, on version 2 and above lenses. So another good technique is simply not to lose the bird. So if you've got a bird on the perch, try your best not to focus on the background. And if you do miss the bird, and it starts to go, just generally push the AF button and hopefully it'll pulse back. So in conclusion, the issue isn't that much of a big deal. It's not a game breaker. I can get over it quite easily by just moving the manual focus or using the focus preset, and I'll get back to the perch. Yep, it's definitely annoying and I shouldn't have to, but it's just possibly a limitation with the older EF lenses and the new mirrorless bodies. So hopefully that helps you if you're struggling as well. Maybe let me know if you've got something else that you've tried or other information that you're aware of. You know, hopefully Canon will fix this issue that the camera is displaying. But so if you like this content, give it a thumbs up. If you want to see my R6 video, make sure you subscribe. I'm looking forward to 2021 and all the videos I'm going to create. So thank you very much. Happy birding, take care, and see you in the next one.